Suburban Philadelphia is one of the best sellers markets in the country, according to Redfin. And I'll explain how they came up with that and what it means for consumers and people thinking about buying or selling in the next 6, 12, or 18 months next. If you get some value out of this or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to schedule a call with our team to talk about how to navigate this kind of market, we know what to do. Just click on the link in the comments and we can give you the proper guidance. Redfin identified suburban Philadelphia as one of the best sellers markets in the country. And when I see these kind of articles come up, I always wonder, how do they determine that? What's the data behind this? So if you look at the data, and I'm going to pull right from the article here, they're saying that according to their research and their surveys, there are more than 3,000 home buyers in excess of the number of sellers. So there's a 3,000 plus buyer delta or difference from the available listings on the market and the people that want to go out and buy a home. And it's one of the most unbalanced markets in the country, according to Redfin. Very interesting stuff. And what they did here is that they're looking at this 36% difference in the suburban markets, and it's the third largest discrepancy in favor of sellers in the nation. What a lot of agents are saying and consumers are saying is that the collar counties, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, Bucks, they're still seeing multiple offers, sometimes with concessions, and inventory is still light. Now, that is true. If you look at the numbers, we're seeing a 2.33 month supply in the entire metro area in Philadelphia, and that number drops down a little bit if you go county by county. So that makes a lot of sense. And prices are continuing to push higher. We're seeing year-over-year prices are up roughly 6%. And the data from Redfin, it shows that there's 4,903 sellers compared to 7,672 buyers, which is, a wild number here when you look at it. I'm going to have Nick put up some charts here for what you can see in the U.S. versus what we're seeing in the greater Philadelphia area. And that's really fascinating when you look at this here. And there's a couple like a heat map here they put together. It comes from MLS data and Redfin data where they show buyer's market versus seller's markets. And really we're seeing most seller's market are isolated in the Northeast and in Minneapolis based on this survey here. We're seeing some neutral markets in the Midwest, and then we're seeing some obviously seller-friendly markets in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania specifically. So that's very interesting, and this is why it's important to be careful what headlines you're listening to, because if you're looking to buy a home right now, you need to know whether it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, and vice versa. So the suburban Philadelphia, again, it's number 3. Zillow lists Philadelphia as the 5th hottest housing market for 2025, highlighting its affordability and the growing appeal as an alternative to pricier markets like New York and DC and Boston. And Philadelphia inventory remains 46% below pre-pandemic numbers. So, and with the increase in pricing and everything else we're seeing, there's a couple things you want to think about here, whether you're a buyer or a seller. So for sellers, you're going to benefit here, especially in the suburbs. The city of Philadelphia is a different animal and is not part of this study. We're talking about suburban Philadelphia to be specific, and we're seeing faster sales. We've seen rates come down to their lowest level of the year just these past couple weeks here. So that's brought even more buyers to the market than you would expect because there's a lot of people that felt shut out. And with these higher final prices, sellers are really maximizing profits. It's ideal for those people that are maybe thinking about relocating to one of the buyer's markets. We just met with a client about this last week. They're looking to relocate to Austin, Texas. Totally different market when you look at this heat map here. They have a ton of new construction down there, which is not something suburban Philadelphia has been able to lean into to bring more inventory up. It's one of the challenges here. There's nowhere left to build unless you get out to like very far Westchester County, very far West Montgomery County, or Lancaster and Berks, and then you're not in the collar counties anymore. So that's another factor here. This particular client, they are thinking about moving to Texas. They're moving there. It's happening. We listed their home, and they see it as, hey, I know I can't time the market, but what we're looking for is we got family and friends down there. That's our support network. We can cash out high here on our current home and maybe get a little better deal down in Austin, Texas. So this is a real life scenario. This home's going on the market in the next 2 weeks because of that very reason. So when you see people like that, they're paying attention, they're reading the data, they're understanding that. And that's a seller that's really savvy when it comes to where am I looking to move to and what are the conditions in that market as well. And your agent should be guiding you through that. It's the conversation we had on the initial phone call. So there's an opportunity there. Now, at the same time, you want to price strategically to make sure you don't overestimate demand. We see a lot of people doing this right now where they still think it's a 22 or a 23 market versus 2025. And those homes do sit when they're not priced right. That's the reality right now. So you got to be very careful there, but there is opportunity, especially for downsizers and people that are relocating. Now, for buyers, you're going to want to be ready for competition. I would assume every situation's going to be a multiple offer competitive situation unless you hear otherwise from your agent. And that's where the preparation prior to the appointment is going to be critical. How many offers are in hand? What's the situation? What's going on? And especially in some of the more affordable price points, in some of the neighborhoods where they trend around the median or the average around 450,000, that can require quick decisions, strong offers, and potentially higher down payments and some different terms like waiving inspections. Not that everyone needs to do that, but that's an option, right? Or, using maybe gift money from parents to waive the mortgage contingency. So stabilizing prices, it's not always a multiple offer competitive situation. We've seen that if homes are on the market 2-3 weeks, there's an opportunity there. And there is inventory growth. We're seeing inventories up 16% year over year. So the competition has gotten better. And the point is, there could be more options if you're a little patient what you want and you're informed before you go out and look at homes. The mistake that most buyers make, they go out and look and they don't know what kind of market they're getting into. So there's major opportunities here for both sellers and buyers if you're informed. That's especially with rates coming down, all of a sudden, if you put together a numbers plan or a financial plan, the home got a little more affordable. And, the seller's market, it signals a robust local economy. This is great for everyone that lives in the greater Philadelphia area. Steady job growth, urban appeal. You can get into the city, but you don't have to live in the city. The SEPTA cuts didn't happen, so that's a big boon for a lot of folks. And that's all reasons why people are moving to the area or want to stay in the area. And it doesn't help affordability. That's the real problem here because we're still in this seller's market. And that can be an issue for a first-time buyer. And that's where you want to know what kind of financing programs are out there, grant programs. There's PHFA programs where you can get a lower rate. This is where, again, you want to meet with someone that can walk you through your options to see how to mitigate some of these affordability issues. And the point is that something really bad would have to happen for this to change. So it's all the more reason to have a strategy in place, come up with a numbers plan or a financial plan, whether you're buying or selling, and just understand exactly what's happening and know all your options so you can make a really great decision.